Yo, okay, man. It's your boy Ja. Same difference. We're here with our very first live interview with Mr. Anthony Marlborough Jr., and he is the Youth Council chairperson. And I know a lot of you probably don't know what that is, but that's why he's here. All right. And we just got done with the Free Will Baptist Virgin Islands History Month showcase, which you coordinated. And it's a very charismatic young man. He had people like kind of turn up in the sanctuary. Seen a lot of VI signs and stuff. Like I like it.
Thank you.
How long did it take you to do the showcase?
So I've been planning the boat showcase because we did one today and then we did Black History Month last month, the 23rd. So I've been having the idea since December of last year, but it took me about 3 months to get it, both of them to happen. For sure.
So let's jump right into it, right? The Youth Advisory Council, aka the Youth Senate.
Yes.
It's something that I've been seeing Senator Whitaker pushing, but nobody seems to know what it is.
Yes.
So what exactly is it?
So basically, it's a organization created by an act proposed by Positive T.N. Nelson when he was a senator. And it basically authorizes the legislature to create a youth senate in a sense. It's for students ages 14 to 25, I believe. And basically, it's 16 individuals from St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, who basically recommend different laws or different policies legislature should do in benefit of the youth. So that's just a brief summary of what we do.
So that's the brief summary. So that's for them. What is it that you do as a chairperson?
So the chairperson basically leads the group. It makes sure that we are represented when we propose, the different bills we have in mind to senators. I'm basically the one that presents it. So there's something called a chairperson report. And so when we have a report, it's due every December, and we submit the report to the senators through the Senate president, and then he or she shares it with their members, and they kind of discuss, okay, this is a bill that we might be interested in. Okay, well, let's bring in the council to testify on it, and then it goes from there. So it's basically we're the liaison of the youth, but I'm the liaison of them. I connect them between the Senate president.
So you're essentially the voice of that council.
Yes.
Okay. So when the votes happen, which apparently they have not even happened, when the votes happen, in essence, the vote is supposed to happen, I guess, during one of your meetings, and then you bring it to.
Yes.
Okay.
So the only thing we voted on was the leadership of the council, who was going to be vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and when we want to meet, what days we want to meet. That's all we discussed. There was nothing else. We did the pin ceremony, but that's about it. After that, it just vanished.
So there was an act proposed by Senator Nelson when he was in, right?
Yes.
And that was how many years ago?
I think the first council was 2016 or 2014, one of those two. Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, so when did you come into, I guess, your term?
So I applied. They were opening in early 2021. I applied. I got appointed September 30th, 2021 by former Senate President Donna Fred Gregory, and I've been serving since.
Okay. So nothing has really come into play. No. Why is that?
Several things. One, we have funding, but we can't get access to the funding. We can't even act as a council because we haven't been recognized by the 35th legislature. So every time a new legislature is in session, they have to be willing to adapt what a previous legislature did. So if they don't adapt it, it can't happen. So legally, we can't meet until we've been recognized by this legislature to proceed. So that's one. Two, I just feel it's a power thing. It's like the 16 of us, well, it's not even 16 of us anymore because majority of them dropped out, went away because they felt like they applied for something. We were doing our part, sacrificing our Sundays to be able to do this, and we didn't get the room. We didn't get the room or the area to grow and support. So they just kind of went separate ways. But it's just a power thing. The youth is never a priority for a lot of these individuals in the community. It's always youth. Prime example, I send articles about the same very issue to different news sources, and none of them picked them up. None of them published it, and so it just shows me that youth are not even a part of the conversation, and that has to change. It's really really disheartening.
Okay. We claim that the youth are our future, and we know it to be true because it's inevitable, right? We're not going to be here forever. We're not immortal. What do you think? You said it's a power play,
Yes.
right? If it's about power, then what is it that the youth council, even if it's enacted, what power would they take, or what's the fear there then?
I think the fear is that we know our ideas are better, to be honest. We know our ideas are better.
You pull
You
no
know,
punches.
yeah, we have a different approach of getting the ideas done. They don't want to hear it. They want to be able to say, "Hey, I'm the one that did this. I'm the one that made this plan," without any consultation, especially to our generation, because what they fail to understand is we have to live with these laws. When you all go, we have to live with them. We have to fix them. Why not involve us in conversation from now? And this is why I tell people we involve the youth of today and the future. Like with my students, I tell them, good morning, children of today's community, because we have to realize that yes, youth are the future, but what about the ones today? What
Correct.
about the ones today that are existing that can play a role in shaping for their children and their children's children? But they don't think about it like that. It's just like we don't vote. Our voting block is the least voting in the territory. We don't vote, and it's just like I said, a power thing. If they're trying to put things into a colonialistic perspective, which tries to shut people down from using their voice. So of course they're going to not want the youth to vote or want the youth to get involved, because when we do, we come out in numbers. Prime example, protests. Anytime we have a school protest, anything that the youth decides we had enough of something and we come together, they try to shut it down the first time we do. And I've always been an advocate for standing up, and I will continue to do so. It's kind of hard when you have individuals who have all of these resources blocking you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's supposed to represent the people, not yourself. Because leadership betters the lives of people, not you.
That's understandable that after so much time passes, you get, upset, frustrated about not getting to do what your job is. So let me just make sure I understand.
Yes.
The bill from Senator Nelson when he was in office, that was passed,
Yes.
right? It wasn't an issue.
No, they actually started a council. That was the first council. The youth chairperson of that council was I want to say her name. I think Shalia Tadman Henley. She's now married. She was the chairperson of that, because my good friend Kishan Lewis was the secretary, and so they were able to meet and kind of do everything. They had ceremony. They were able to have town halls, which is a requirement by law. We're supposed to host a town hall in each district with the youth. We invite the youth to come in. We invite agencies that impact the youth. If we have bills, if we have ideas, they come in, testify in support of a bill or in support of an idea or against it. Why? It's supposed to be that kind of discussion, but we can't do that. So it's like we have all of these responsibilities. We don't have the funding, we don't have the resources, and then we don't have the opportunity or the legality to uproot because you have not recognized us yet.
It seems like it would be beneficial to have a youth council that does this type of, community outreach to specifically youth. You're of the age group and you get to talk to them directly. You know what they're interested in. You gather the feedback and you bring it back. That seems like it would be beneficial.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that the legislature and the administration is not concerned with what the youth want then.
No, because even to the administration, each administration supposed to there's something called Commission on the Youth. And that new legislation has been created decades ago. It's always been a thing, but it was reinstated by Senator Janet Milling Young. She proposed a law to reinstate it, and it passed. And so basically, those individuals work with the governor on youth policies. But even to that, is not in action. We have the Millennial Council, which he appointed a few years ago, but you didn't even appoint the people to the youth council, the youth commission, which you're by law supposed to do. So,
Wait. So there's other councils for young people getting implemented, right, and
Yes.
funded.
Mhm.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't even know if the Millennial Council meets, and and one of the things of the Millennial Council is to, come up with policies for Gen Z and millennials, but there's no millennials on the, no Gen Zs on the Millennial Council. If you're gonna do policies about us, then
Okay.
we're not even involved in the process. And then on top of that, there are two mandated agencies or programs for young people to be the voice that are not even in action. So it's a lot of red tape, a lot of red line. It's just a lot of, oh, okay, well, when I become governor, when I become Senate president, I want to do this, then they leave, or they're no longer in this position, it just dies out. Or if they get re-elected, their priorities are not on that anymore because they're not trying to get votes. They already got their next term. So they're just trying to serve out whatever they're trying to do. Yeah.
Okay. What is the next step for you, since you're the voice, right, of the youth council as their chairperson? What is your next step to try to get some motion?
I think now I have to really step into the government itself. Being someone appointed in a position where you really don't have the freedom to advocate as much as you want, and there's a lot of, oh, you can't go in the press. I don't care about the press. I'm gonna tell them. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm not afraid to tell the press that you fail at your job. So I think now it's time for me. I'm at the age now that it's time for me to go in and potentially pursue office, because we need to do better. We can't continue to do the same thing and we don't make any changes. So I'm considering it.
Considering running for office yourself to get
Yes.
this stuff. Okay, at 20 years old, about
Yes.
to be 21, you're considering running because you see what's happening to being discarded, basically discarded and disregarded your views and people of your age group. If What do you think? Do you think you'll be taken seriously?
Um, that's where respect comes in.
Mm-hmm.
When you show up and you're no games and you know business and you
Mhm.
know exactly what you're coming for and what you're trying to do, the respect comes with it. Yes, it's gonna be challenging. Like my first year teaching, that was not. I didn't get respect coming into the room. I had to earn it. I had to earn it from the students. So if you don't go through struggle in life, what's the lesson behind it? There's a lesson. And so when I go in there and let these people know, hey, you've been comfortable for 20 years, time to get uncomfortable, time to fix the problems.
I like that.
You know?
I like that. What would you like for the audience and the people out there to know about the Youth Council?
Let your children know. And my fellow peers out there know about the council. Push your senators to get it done. Push the governor to get it done. The more that we come out, the more that we let them know that we want this. It has to happen. They can't deny it. And on top of that, there's something called voting. You have to vote. Our young people, we don't want to vote. We don't want to go in the line. We just want to get the card for identification. But you have to vote. Your voice is going to be gone if you don't vote and be a part of the change. You have to be a part of the change and not go on the radio and complain every Saturday about it. You have to make the changes. You have to vote. Even if you say, okay, I'm tired of what the senator is doing, you challenge that senator for their seat. That's what democracy is. That's what it's built upon. That's why we have the freedom to be able to change who we want to change in leadership. But you have to play a part in it. You can't just sit back and just relax and support the ones like myself who are advocating for you, who are speaking up for you, because we can't do it by ourselves.
we've heard the, go vote, voting matters, rock the vote, all these other things that they try to push to people that don't.
Mhm.
Why do you think it's important, and how can we increase people of your age group voting?
So let's put some numbers and some statistics into perspective. So one, the two groups that are paid less attention to in the territory, and this is so ironic, youth and elderly. While the elderly is the major voting bloc in the territory, they get the less attention. And the youth, we don't even get any attention and we vote the least. And so it's just to put numbers, just to put percentage and numbers into perspective. That is more than just numbers for them. It's about who they know is going to have their back, who they know is going to rely on them. And that's why they have this thing called fans. I go by supporters, they go by fans.
Mhm.
They have people who, will do anything for them, try to say the election was stolen, whatever the case may be. But us as young people, we have to want to take voting seriously too, because I can't just put the blame on them. We have to want to take it serious. And again, this is where youth influence. If I see somebody like me that's voting and going in there and trying to impact the community, 8 out of 10 times I'm gonna want to vote and help impact my community. But if it's a bunch of 75-year-olds or 62-year-olds coming to tell me why voting is important, um, but by your views on voting is important to me. So it's just that's what a lot of the majority of the children think. And so we have to be able to let them know that no, if you don't vote, it just silences your voice even more because you don't participate, you're not involved, you're already minors, and then the ones that are young adults, you don't vote, but then complain about all these issues.
Sure. They call us Saint Cry for a reason. Because we do love to complain, and you're right, they do call into radio stations and go off, but the same people seem to keep getting elected and reelected.
Exactly.
How do you expect to change that? Well, my thing is about systems, right?
Mhm.
I don't necessarily believe that you can change a system from the inside because if a system is already broken and damaged, everything inside of it is working under that damaged
Mhm.
system. So if you enter it, it's either going to corrupt you or you're going to leave. What do you, and I know, sometimes when there are things that are wrong, we want to fix it. How can you? Because it would seem like you'd be doing it by yourself. How would you be able to do it?
So one thing I strongly believe in is dealing with struggle.
Mhm.
That's how I was raised. That's how I was growing up. My background is in government. I studied political science,
Okay.
and so I know the structure of government is always going to be broken. That's just the way it was designed. That's the
Correct.
thing. However, I think the more we try to improve bit by bit of what government could look like, um, we will be better off because this is my thing. The foundations of what government was supposed to be, God gave us the authority to have a government.
Mhm.
When we lost the foundations of how government are supposed to be, that's where all this chaos come in. When we started losing the foundation, that's a thing. Not even in government, but across the world, we began to lose the foundation, and that's why we have the issues we have. And so, bringing in some level of no, I'm not going to agree with this. No, I'm not going to deal with this. And you're right, it can't be only me. And so, I have to bring people in the government. We have to try to start. We know we can't clean up the whole government, but at least clean up majority of it for where the young people can feel like, you know what? We see some level of progress. We ain't gonna always get 100%, but at least 85%, at least 75%, and we work our way to 80 and work our way to 85. That's another thing. The Virgin Islands don't plan. That's why our schools are the way they are, our hospitals the way they are, the roads the way they are, because we don't plan. We don't plan. We don't look at the 3 year, the 5 year, the 10 year, the 15 year, the 20 year. How are we gonna ever improve if we don't plan? And so my one of my main things is to get my fellow young people's number one to vote, because for me to even get in there, I need their help. I need their help. I know, of course, I have individuals in the other generations who have my back, but I need my fellow peers to help me out here because we have to let them know we're not accepting this. We can't keep doing the same thing. And I always keep God in my heart and in my mind and keep grounded. He always allows me to weigh out situations. Is this something I need to go into? Is this something I need to back out of? Is this something I need to report? And a lot of times people see money and they see power and they see all of these different things and they let go of their foundation so that they could excel in what the secular world is like, rather than remaining firm in their foundation and doing what they were called to do, which is lead.
It's powerful. I like that. I like that. My final question for you would be this. So I believe that a part of getting people to vote, just people on a whole,
Yes.
we need to learn how to vote smarter. That's
Yes.
one thing. So it's an issue that we have. We don't vote smart enough. There's a lot of nepotism. Oh, that's my friend. You know what I'm saying? They throw the best fish fry. They throw the best jam, so I'm gonna vote for them.
I know that's his last name. I know the last name.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
So I trust them. How do we get past that? How do we get to the part where the masses are educated? I think we need something streamlined. I'm not asking you to answer everything, but we need, is there a younger idea of how to educate people in the civics of things?
Yes, number one, this is civics needs to be taught in schools. That's number one. I know there's laws about it, but not everybody's learning it. I have the pleasure of teaching government, and so at least my students will be able to leave knowing a grasp of what the government is like, how it operates.
What it should do.
And exactly, and the laws they need to follow. So civics needs to be taught. Two, we need to create our own criteria. Like we need to come up together as a community and say, hey, what have you done for the youth? Point out these 5 things you've done. What have you done for the elderly? What have you done for retirement? What have you done for welfare? What have you, whatever these target areas that we're looking for, create a criteria, not just going based on best friend and last name. Host forums and not forums hosted by WTJX alone and VI Consult. We come together as a community and host our own forums, invite them to come where we know for sure the questions are not going to be pre-prepared. We're going to ask them on the spot and you have to be able to answer them. And if they can't answer it, then we can't hire them. We have to learn to fire people. And I know that sounds odd, but it's the truth. We have to learn to fire people, and it's easy. Right now is an election season. If you're not content with the senators who are serving, vote them out. Yeah, but they don't have term limits, but we can't keep giving them chances. If you gave you one chance and you messed up, and you luckily get a next chance and you still mess it up, I mean, you gotta go. 4 years is enough for you to be causing too much chaos in our community. It's just enlightening the people of your voice. Your voice matters. Puerto Rico always protesting their governors. When they do the wrong thing, they go and protesting them, letting them know we don't agree. But another thing is we're always afraid. We're always afraid of the outcome. Oh, well, I work for the government. If I protest against the governor, I'm gonna get fired. And so it's like, when are you going to let people know I'm tired? Our ancestors were tired. The students have just talked about it today, about the fire burn and how they were tired of getting low wages and they demanded it and they burned down. I mean, that's what we need. We need to go back to those things. We need to go back to having the strength and the power as a community to deal with these problems, because all we have is separation. And that was built by design. From back then, we were always separated, but now we need to, especially the blacks. So now we need to come together and tell them, no, we're tired of separating. We're gonna come together. We're gonna fight these issues. You might not like it, but we don't care, because we need to be able to feel comfortable, seen, heard, respected, and valued in our own community, especially the young people. I mean, it's a reality.
Correct. I love it. I love it. I vote for him. I'll vote for him right now. Okay. The guest got the final word on this show. How can the people support the Youth Council?
Yes, so the Youth Council, you can follow my page, Anthony Mardenborough Jr., Youth Chairperson on Facebook. You can follow that. I'm gonna start posting updates there. I am discussing with the Senate President. I've been pushing Senator Novell Francis to get us back on track with that. And then for those of you who are anxiously waiting to see what position I decide to run for, I already decided, but on May 18th, I will be making my official announcement, but you could follow me, also and friends and supporters of Anthony Mardenborough Jr. on Facebook. and you can see all the updates there, and you'll find out what position I'm running for.
The decision over here, like LeBron James. I like it. He about to get drafted. So look out for that. Go to his pages, support the youth council. They're important. We need to tap in to the youth and get in touch with our community and come together as one. I agree wholeheartedly with everything that he said here today. I appreciate you coming, sir. 20 years old, social studies teacher, right? And already looking to run for governor. I like it. I like it. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, have a good one. Same difference. We out.